We'll get started in just a couple more minutes. I know there's some people still trying to log in, so I want to be sure and give them some time to do that. So we'll start in just another minute or two, and thank you for your patience. Okay, we will go ahead and get started, and hopefully anybody else that joins us from this point can catch up, or they can catch the first part of the recorded presentation at a later time. I am recording this, so if if you happen to need to leave or something like that, that's not a problem. Everybody will get a copy of the recording afterward. And just before we get started, a little housekeeping information. There is a chat box down in the bottom left-hand corner that you will see, and you can send questions to me through this box, and I will try to answer those at the end. I did leave some time so that we can answer any other questions that may come up. I know a lot of you had submitted questions on your registration form, and I appreciate that. So that kind of gives me a little heads up about if I need to do any research or anything. But anyway, as you all know, you are traveling to Scandinavia this summer, so I hope all of you are looking forward to that. We've got a few tours that are set to leave this week, and they'll be running all summer long. Um, so hopefully you are geared up and ready to go and excited about your trip. But before you head off to Scandinavia, we wanted to reach out to answer some questions that you might have before you leave about such as what to pack, where to meet, and other things that you might need to know before you actually leave your home. So first I'll go over some general information about our tours. I'll answer some of the questions that you submitted on your registration form. And then at the end of the presentation, I'll open it up for additional questions that you might have. And if you did have questions that you submitted on the registration form related to a specific tour, I may not cover that online today, but I will follow up with you afterward via email to make sure you get those questions answered. All right, so let's get started. My name is Amanda Hancock, and I'm the manager of sales and marketing for Brekke Tours. If you have any questions that I don't answer today, feel free to give me a call, send me an email, contact our office, and I also invite you to visit us online. You can visit our website and download this helpful booklet right here, and here is the website. And this has a lot of the same information that I'll be covering today. So just in case you maybe want to read a little bit more in detail later on, this is a good place to find that information, and it's all in a short little pamphlet. So a few weeks before you depart on your trip to Scandinavia, you can expect to receive a packet of information from our office. You can expect one packet of information per couple. So if it's you and your husband, or husband and wife, if it's two sisters traveling together, however the rooming configuration is set up is usually how we mail out the documents. So if you're sharing a room with somebody, you will probably get one set of documents per room. If you are just happen to be rooming with somebody on the tour that maybe you haven't met before, then we'll probably go ahead and send you your own packet. So if you don't get those about 2 weeks before you depart, please give our office a call and we'll make sure to overnight those to you, because you definitely want to have this information before you leave. So in the packet, you'll find the following information: a departure letter with some basic information pertaining to your specific tour. a final itinerary of your tour, and a final flight itinerary. You'll also see some luggage tags, a tote bag, contact information for the hotels you'll be staying at while on tour, airport information, and any additional information that might pertain to your particular tour. Now, some documents are a little bit more important than others. For instance, please double check to make sure that your passport is valid for at least 3 to 6 months after your return date and that you have a copy or two of your passport. Be sure to pack your passport and a copy in your carry-on and keep that with you. You may also want to leave a copy of your passport with a family member or a friend that can be sent to the U.S. Embassy in case your passport is lost or stolen while you're overseas. And you might want to also take a few moments to ensure that the name listed on your airline ticket matches your passport name, and this includes your first, middle, and last name. You may also want to keep your airline receipt to make sure that your miles are credited to your frequent flyer account. Now, the airlines are responsible for crediting your points to your account, so if your account balance is incorrect, please contact the airlines directly. And finally, if you've booked any independent services with us, say a pre or post tour, or you stop over in Iceland on the way, please review your documents before departing the U.S. and let us know immediately if you notice any errors or if you have any questions. We'll be glad to help you out. And please note that the vouchers will have emergency contact numbers in case you need assistance while traveling on your own. And finally, be sure to note any special instructions on your vouchers, such as you need to exchange your train voucher for actual train tickets before you get on the train. And so we usually put that in like a big, bright color so that you won't miss it. All right, so I know a lot of you are, have questions about luggage. So due to our coach capacity, we do allow one suitcase and one carry-on per person. And luggage at the hotels is usually for just one suitcase, usually your large roller bag. Now, on the flight portion of your trip, most airlines allow one free piece of checked luggage on international flights. If you have any domestic tickets booked in conjunction with your international flights, the airlines may charge a baggage fee. So you may want to check with the airline before you depart to see if any fees apply. Now, if you're on one of our tours flying into Minneapolis in conjunction with the tour, you usually will not have to pay a baggage fee because you are traveling internationally. But if you've booked that ticket separately, then it gets a little confusing. The airlines will charge a baggage fee because they can't see that your international ticket is connected. So anyway, so it's a good idea to just kind of check it. If you do have any questions, Kim in our airfare department, she knows just about everything that there is to know about the airlines. So she's more than willing to help you. And of course, the rest of us are more than willing to do the research if you have any questions. So now typically your checked luggage can weigh up to 50 pounds and the dimensions cannot exceed 62 inches. And so that's length plus width plus height. Now a standard large roller bag is usually what we recommend. And for your carry-on, typically the weight cannot exceed 22 pounds and the dimensions cannot go over 45 inches. And again, that's length, width, and height. Now, each airline has its own luggage policy. So I've listed airlines website on here. So you might want to check that before you leave. So especially if you're flying, say you're flying Delta into Minneapolis, and then you're flying Iceland Air over, you might want to check with both airlines to see what baggage fees may apply. So, know what to pack. Inside your suitcase, you may want to pack the following. Casual clothing is perfectly appropriate for all of our tours. For the nights that we have dinner included, you may want to bring some slacks and a nice shirt or blouse, as Scandinavians do like to dress up a little bit for dinner. But it's completely optional. So clothing that can be layered is recommended, as temperatures can change depending on your travel during the day. So for instance, if we have a cruise included that day, you might want to bring something that's a little bit heavier just because it does tend to be a little cooler on the water. Good walking shoes are a must, as sightseeing along cobblestone streets and walking in the mountains of Norway is not the place for heels and flip-flops. A raincoat with a removable lining is a good choice, or you may choose to bring a rain poncho. I usually recommend bringing a light coat or jacket, especially in the morning and in the evenings, it might be a little bit cooler. You may also want to bring a swimsuit if you'd like to enjoy any of the pools or spas at the hotel. And finally, I would recommend leaving your valuables at home. If it creates an emotional or financial hardship, if it were to be lost or stolen, it's best to leave it behind. In case your luggage is delayed, I recommend packing a change of clothes in your carry-on bag. And if you're traveling with someone, put some of your clothes in their suitcase and vice versa in case one bag is delayed. Now, some of you might be planning to visit family or friends in Scandinavia, and you may want to bring a personal or a small gift, especially if they're extending their hospitality in some manner. So such gifts might include an American flag or a windsock, books, calendars, a cap, t-shirts, and other unique items to your city or state, college or professional sports clothing or caps, Native American or country and western themed items, liquor or liqueurs, and then for children, Disney clothing, candies, puzzles, or cartoon characters are always popular. So some other items that you may want to unpack include an extra memory card or batteries for your camera, snacks and a refillable water bottle. The water in Norway and pretty much everywhere in Scandinavia is safe to drink right out of the tap, so you can save a couple of bucks by filling up your water bottle each day before you set out, and that way you don't have to buy something at a convenience store. A travel alarm clock, which a lot of times these are found on your phone, so you may not even need one. Washcloths. A lot of times in Scandinavia, hotels do not provide washcloths, so if it's something that you like to have to clean your face with in the evening, then I would recommend bringing your own. Tissues, calculator, which also can be found on your phone, sewing kit or safety pins, and medications. Prescriptions and over-the-counter, I would recommend bringing both, especially if you like to take aspirin at night. If you have a headache or something like that, it can be a little hard to find in Scandinavia, and you may not be near a pharmacy. So it might just be better to bring a little bottle of aspirin or over-the-counter medications that you may need. Band-aids and a first aid kit might also be something that you want to put in your suitcase. A converter and adapters, and we'll talk about those in a little bit more in detail in a minute. Sunscreen and sunglasses, extra eyeglasses or repair kit. Also, you might want to bring extra contacts and solution. Maps and travel information. Spot removers such as a Tide stick or wipes, just in case you get something on your shirt or your pants throughout the day. An inflatable pillow and an eye mask for the flights. An umbrella or a poncho. It does tend to rain quite a bit in Scandinavia, so it's always best to be prepared. Some people like to bring journals to record their favorite memories of the day. A small backpack for sweaters, camera, snacks, and water, and also the tote bag that you will receive from our office. That's also, it makes a pretty handy carry-on bag or a day pack. And then plastic baggies. If you do happen to go swimming or something like that, and your swimsuit may not get dry overnight, then that way you can kind of keep it from getting the rest of your clothes soaked. Now, the climate in Scandinavia is very similar to what we experience in the northeastern United States, though it's rarely as hot in the summer or as cold in the winter. Now, average daytime temperatures in Fahrenheit for June, July, and August range from the 40s to the 60s, depending on your region of travel. And I always recommend people checking the weather rate and forecast before you depart the U.S. That way you kind of know, oh, it's going to be, rainy that day or something. So I definitely want to bring a rain jacket or a poncho. Now, the difference between converters and adapters. The world runs on two types of electricity. There's the 110, 125 volt and the 220, 240 volt. Most North American devices run on 110, 125, while the rest of the world runs on 220, 240. Now, the label on your device will help determine if a voltage converter or transformer, which is this item here, This is the converter. It's the big box. If your device is only 110 or 125, you will need a converter. So to find that, you can look on the back of the device, on the AC transformer box of this power supply lead, which is usually the box that you plug into the wall, or molded into the plastic of the plug. So it's often in very small print, so you might have to hunt for it. If your device does wind up to be dual voltage, then really all you should need is just an adapter. And so this is the adapter that you will actually need for Scandinavia. It's a two-prong plug, and these typically sell for around $3 to $5. So those are pretty affordable. So most hotels will have a hair dryer in the room, but if you're like me and I have to have a curling iron, you might want to bring at least an adapter if you know your device is dual voltage. If you do not know, then it's best to bring a converter. And those are usually a little more expensive, maybe $20 to $30, depending on where you get it. So know your currency. Norway, Denmark, Sweden, and Iceland each have their own currency known as the kroner, and in Finland they use the euro. The currency of the 5 countries are not interchangeable. So if you are visiting multiple countries, you will need to exchange money for each country. Now, the easiest place to exchange money is at the arrival airport. You can also exchange money at banks and in some offices. And your tour director can assist in locating an exchange desk or an ATM. You will find the most major credit cards, such as Visa, MasterCard, and in some larger stores, American Express, are honored at most hotels, stores, banks, and restaurants. However, most credit card companies do charge a foreign transaction fee on purchases made abroad, and it's usually between 1% to 3%. So you may want to contact your credit card company before you leave the U.S. to check not only the foreign transaction fees that they charge, but also to let them know that you will be traveling outside of the country, and they will put a travel advisory on your card. So you may also want to make a photocopy of the front and back side of your card and leave it behind with someone at home who can assist you in case your cards are misplaced, lost, or stolen. Now, ATMs are readily available in larger cities, and we don't really recommend taking traveler's checks just because they're not as widely accepted as what they used to be. And just to kind of give you a quick, so that you can do it in your head kind of thing, if you are looking at something in Norwegian kroner, you can divide by 8 to get the US dollar amount, or at least approximate. This is a Danish kroner, 6, Swedish kroner, again 8, and Icelandic kroner by 100. And for euro, you would multiply by 1.1. And historical exchange rates can be found on this website, oenda.com, and it kind of gives you an up-to-date information on what the exchange rates are. Now, if you are planning to travel to Minneapolis for your departing flight, you might be interested in our Park and Fly special. It's in conjunction with the Holiday Inn in Bloomington near this airport south entrance. The rates start at $119 per night, and it includes either a king or a twin queen bedroom, and it also includes 10 free days of parking, shuttle to the airport, and the Mall of America. So if you would like some more information about this, or if you want to go ahead and make that reservation, please just contact our office. You can send us an email or give us a call, and we can set that up for you. So we're going to talk a little bit about your airline. There are 2 terminals in the Minneapolis-St. Paul Airport. There's Terminal 1 and Terminal 2, which is the Humphrey Terminal. Now, if you're flying on our escorted tours, we use Iceland Air for each tour departure for our groups. So Iceland Air serves Terminal 2, which is the Humphrey Terminal. If you have a domestic flight arriving in the Terminal 1, there is a free shuttle that takes you between the 2 terminal buildings. And if you look on page 13 of our Helpful Hints book, it has some more information there. All of Iceland Air flights will route through Keflavik Airport in Iceland. So passengers arriving on Iceland Air and continuing on will need to show their passport at customs before heading to the gate for the next leg of the flight to Scandinavia. You will not need to collect your luggage in Reykjavik as it's been checked through to your final destination, but you will need to go ahead and show your passport. So you will also need to switch planes in Iceland, but the layover time is much shorter. You only need about 30 to 45 minutes to go from gate to gate. During your flight with Iceland Air, you can expect free in-flight entertainment, headphones for sale, or you can bring your own. You also will receive complimentary water, drinks, tea, and coffee. Now, they don't offer food for free anymore, but they do have a selection of food for sale, or you can bring your own. If you are seated in economy comfort or in their saga class, you will receive a meal. Now, snacks on board range from about $2.50 to $5 for chips, sweets, trail mix, and pastries. And if you would like a full meal, you're looking at about $8 and up, and this includes a snack box, sandwich, or a salad. For those of you that have requested window or aisle seats on your tour applications, we have submitted those to the airlines, to Iceland Air. But we can't guarantee that they will not change the seats or cancel the seats after the request has been made. So if we're not able to assign the seats at the time of booking, you will be assigned a seat when checking in for the flight. Exit row seating and bulkhead seating will not be able to be pre-assigned before check-in. Again, we can request it, but that doesn't mean that they will honor the request. Bulkhead seating is reserved for people with small children or people with disabilities. You will be able to operate, you must be able to operate the emergency door to sit in the exit row, and they will determine that upon check-in. If you do need wheelchair assistance or an electric cart for transfers at connecting flights, you can request that, but you will need to re-verify at the airports when checking in. So, how to avoid jet lag. If your flight arrives in the morning, try to sleep on board. And if you're like me and you have trouble sleeping, you might want to try over-the-counter sleep aids such as ZQuil or Tylenol PM, Advil PM. You might also want to bring an eye mask, earplugs, and a blanket pillow if that will help you sleep. You might want to bring a toothbrush and anything else that isn't a liquid or a gel that you need to help freshen up a little bit before you get off the plane. Wear loose-fitting clothing and wear comfortable shoes and try not to take them off as feet occasionally swell during long flights. When possible, you might want to walk up and down the aisle to stretch your limbs and get the blood circulating. You want to drink plenty of water on the plane and avoid alcohol, caffeine, and carbonated drinks. Avoid wearing contact lenses in flight because cabin air tends to dry them out. And if you tend to get airsick, drink a small bottle of ginger ale before boarding and pack a newspaper in your carry-on bag. The ginger ale will help calm your stomach, and so will the smell of the newspaper. And after arrival, you want to spend lots of time out in the sunlight, which will help your body reset its natural time clock to coincide with your new surroundings. So, if you're on our escorted tours, you might want to know where to meet your guide. So, airport transfers in Scandinavia are included for passengers arriving and departing on designated flights of our escorted tours. After deplaning and collecting your luggage, you'll proceed through passport control. Then you'll see two exits, green if you have nothing to declare and red if you have something to declare. You'll choose the appropriate exit, and after leaving the customs area, you'll continue to the arrivals hall where you will meet your tour director. And she might look something like this and be holding a Brekke sign so that you know where to go. Now, if you're arriving on a different flight than our group, you're welcome to join our transfers, provided that the arrival time is pretty similar. Please be sure to send a note to our office indicating the flight number, arrival time, and the flight's point of departure. That way, if for some reason your flight should be delayed, we'll know, when to expect you. If your arrival time doesn't coincide with the group transfer, not to worry. You can choose from several modes of transportation from the airport to the hotel. Airport buses with frequent departures run from the airport to the city center and vice versa in each of the Scandinavian capitals. Trains and taxis may also be available from the airport to the city center. But if you are taking a bus or a train, you might want to know that it might be necessary to take a taxi from the central station to the hotel. 'Cause sometimes it's a little bit far to walk with your luggage from the central station. If you are arriving a few days early, you can meet your group at the hotel that night on the arrival night for dinner, and dinner time is listed in your departure letter. I recommend referring to page 12 of your Helpful Hints booklet for transfer options at the various airports. So we give approximate pricing and times, and it lists what's available for each of the capitals. So it's good information on page 12. So when you get to your hotel, the first thing you might notice about your room is that they're smaller than what we expect in the US, and that all of them, not all of them will have an air conditioner. So just something to be aware of. All the hotels used in our itineraries, though, will have private bathrooms with a shower or a tub, toilet, and sink. So at least you will not have to go down the hall. If you get to your room and think that the fuse is blown when the lights and the TV don't turn on, you might need to just check around. Many hotel accommodations in Scandinavia will use key cards, which not only you use to access your rooms, but you'll also put them in a little slot for your electricity as well. Usually the little box is near the entrance of your hotel room, and you'll just slip a key card in, and it helps to control the consumption of energy. Now, some hotels in larger cities will have a guest laundry room or offer cleaning services at an additional cost. For more information on these services, you might just want to ask the front desk or the staff whenever you check in. Nearly all hotels offer internet access in their lobbies at a computer station, and more hotels are offering wireless connections as well in the rooms. Wireless may only be available in the lobby area, but like I said, it's more common now to have it in your rooms and have it throughout the hotel. If you do decide to go exploring on your own, grab a business card or a map from the front desk in case you get lost. You can use the business card to ask for directions using the map, and it will help you get back to your hotel. Now, most of the time you will find a hair dryer, a clothes iron, or a pants press, along with shower gel and shampoo in your room. However, if one of those things is missing, usually you can just call down to the front desk and they're supplied. Now, most days on our tour will start with a departure from your hotel between 7:30 and 9, depending on the day's schedule. Breakfast buffet is served each morning at the hotel, so you might want to leave a little time to eat before you depart. Your guide will let you know each evening what the departure time is for the next day. You can expect to arrive at your hotel each evening around 6, sometimes earlier, sometimes later, but 6 is usually about average. On travel days, you can expect several stops to allow for restroom breaks, lunch, and sightseeing activities. While most of our tours are leisurely, you will need to walk some short distances each day, and sometimes over uneven terrain such as cobblestones and rocks and things like that. You will need to be able to climb the steps in and out of the bus. And note that some restrooms can be located on lower levels of buildings, and sometimes there's no elevators. So I found this a lot, especially in Norway. So I just want you to be aware of this issue. If assistance is needed, we ask that you bring a qualified and physically able companion to assist you. You can, of course, choose to opt out of any of the activities while on tour. We leave that to your discretion. Motorized scooters are not suitable for any of our escort tours. So, unfortunately, we can't control the universe, so things do tend to happen that are beyond our control. If something happens while you are overseas and you need assistance, there's a few helpful tips that I wanted to pass along. First, ask help from your tour director. From lost luggage to finding a good place to eat, your tour director is there to help ensure that your vacation is as carefree as possible. If you happen to leave your phone behind in your hotel room or need an injury seen by a doctor, or if you have something stolen, your tour director can be a huge asset in getting you the help that you need. Now, if you're on your own or you haven't met up with a group yet, seek help directly from the source whether it be the airlines, hotel, or car rental agency. If you're lost, you might want to ask help from the locals. Most Scandinavians speak English fluently, and you'll find that most are willing to lend a hand if asked nicely. And a smile can open many doors, and that's very true. If you really need assistance right away, be sure you know how to place a call while you are in Scandinavia and what the local emergency numbers are. If you look at page 31 of our Helpful Hints booklet, it has the emergency contact information for each of the Scandinavian countries. If your passport does go missing, know where the U.S. Embassy is located so that you can immediately start the process of getting a new one. And finally, be adventurous. Don't let one bad thing ruin what could be a great trip. Think of the stories you can tell everybody once you get back home. So here are just a few other random tips that we thought might be helpful, and that we kind of just compiled these from all of us here in the office, and things that we wish that we had known during our first time to Scandinavia. First, save your poor toes and step over the thresholds as you enter your hotel room. Many thresholds in Scandinavia are raised, and you'll find yourself stumbling if you're not careful. Also, be cautious when getting in and out of the bathtubs in Scandinavia, as they tend to be taller than the tubs that we have here in the US. Now, you finished a great meal and you happen to find that your waiter or waitress just keeps coming back to check on you, but never brings the check. So if you find this happening to you, just kindly ask for the check and you'll be on your way pretty soon. Speaking of eating out, tipping in Scandinavia is not typical, as many restaurants will include a service charge in your bill. You can leave a few kroners, say you round up to the next 5 or 10, for your waiter or waitress if they were attentive, but leaving a 20% tip is not necessary. Now, while we're on the topic of tipping, we do leave tipping up to your discretion for the tour guide and the bus driver. You'll find a handy guideline in your Helpful Hints booklet on page 23, and you can offer a tip in US dollars, but local currency is usually preferable. Now, have you ever arrived to your hotel and opened your suitcase to discover that your shampoo has exploded all over your clothes? If not, I can tell you that that is no fun. So I would recommend packing your shampoo, conditioner, soap, and other liquids in a Ziploc bag, and that's just a really good tip for any liquids that you may have. So you may also want to bring a small bit of soap to hand wash any items that you may want to rewear while traveling. Another handy tip, call your bank and your credit card company before you leave the US to let them know where you are going, for how long, and to expect some charges to show up. The last thing you want to worry about on your trips is how you are going to pay for things. I would recommend packing a couple of days before you actually leave. This will give you time to hopefully catch anything that you may have missed. And finally, pack some snacks to take along with you. Granola bars, trail mix, etc. You can use this space on your return trip to pack some souvenirs that you've picked up along the way. So, some of the questions that were submitted on the form, I'll go through some of these. And the first one was, how much money should I bring? And this is a really hard question because it depends on a number of factors, to be honest. The length of your stay, the extent of your travels, and your shopping and sightseeing plans. So all of our tours include breakfast and most dinners. Lunches, however, are usually left up to you. You can expect to spend about $5 to $15 for lunch in Scandinavia. But if you eat a large breakfast, bring a snack with you, and eat a decent dinner, you'll find that you won't be needing lunch that often. Other expenses are usually just of a personal nature. Laundry, drinks at dinner, taxis that you may want, gratuities for the driver and guides, snacks, anything like that, souvenirs. The next question is, how will I recognize others on the tour? So after you get off your plane in your arrival city, the easiest way to spot other Brekke Tour participants is to look for the Brekke tote bag or our luggage tags. We made our tags for your luggage annoyingly bright for a reason. They are easy to spot. So not only will it help you locate your luggage, it will help you locate potential friends on tour. So if you do book a pre-tour extension, if you you're not with the group at the airport, the easiest place to meet your group is at the dinner the night the group is scheduled to arrive. You should receive the time to meet your group for dinner in your information packet, and typically it's around 6:30 or 7. Should I bring a cap and mittens? Now, personally, I prefer the chance to be warmer rather than colder. So if your tour includes some time on a boat, which most of them do, or treks up north, then, or if you are going up into the mountains, it's certainly not a bad idea to pack some warmer clothing. You can always take off a layer if you are too warm, but if you are cold and left your items at home, then you're just kind of out of luck. So, are seats assigned on the motor coach? No, we do ask that people on our tour switch seats on board so that everyone gets a chance to sit where they want. Will I need to collect my luggage in Iceland? If you're flying on Iceland Air, you will stop to change planes in Iceland. However, as long as your luggage is tagged to your final destination, so that you say that you depart Minneapolis, your luggage is tagged to Oslo, you will not need to collect it in Iceland. It will arrive in Oslo, and that's where you will collect it. Do my medications need to be in a pharmacy labeled bottle? Now, right now, the TSA does not require passengers to have medications in prescription bottles. However, I would recommend taking along a copy of your prescription or snap a picture of your pharmacy label when you're traveling. Can I use my phone in Norway? So, unless you have an international plan, your phone will probably not work. You can contact your carrier about an international plan, and there are other ways you can call back home as long as you have Wi-Fi. So you can either do that through, if you have an Apple phone, you can FaceTime, Skype, or another video chat application. Just be sure to download the app and give it a try before you head overseas. Prepaid SIM cards are another option, but I would recommend contacting your carrier, such as Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint, AT&T, before you depart the U.S. to make sure that your phone can be used with a SIM card. Can family farm visits be arranged? Now, we can certainly help in making your arrangements to visit family farms. If you're traveling near your family heritage site, please let our tour director know. And if it's possible, we can try to drive by and perhaps even stop for a short visit to take pictures. If you're wanting a little bit more time, you might want to contact our office and we can check on transportation options and create a customized plan for your visit. What should I be aware of when exploring on my own? So safety while traveling is certainly something that can weigh heavily on you. What if I get lost? What if my bags are stolen? What if there's an attack? Anything you do comes with an inherent risk, but you can minimize this risk by traveling smart, such as don't be an easy target. Keep your head up, eyes looking around, acknowledging people that are coming and going. Don't be flashy. Don't walk around with an expensive camera or jewelry hanging around your neck. Don't draw negative attention to yourself. Avoid crowded areas if possible, and if not, stay aware. Learn a few phrases in the local language, and of course, watch your belongings. Now, what if I miss my flight? If for some reason you missed your flight, the first thing to do is talk to the airlines and see if they can't get you on a different flight. The next step would be to contact your travel insurance company if you've purchased travel insurance. Missing flights can, of course, be costly. Thus, if you've purchased travel insurance, it can help offset any of the out-of-pocket expenses for missed flights, delays, or cancellations. And finally, send an email to our office or give us a call. That's so that we can advise the tour director of any issues and help you make any necessary arrangements to catch you up to the tour group if you are delayed. And what will we be eating? Now, if you're worried that you'll starve while traveling on our tours, not to worry. Each morning you'll be greeted with a full Scandinavian breakfast, which usually includes a variety of breads, cereal, fruits, yogurt, meat, warm dishes such as scrambled eggs, bacon, sausage, cheese, jams, and more. And for dinner, it's more of the same. There are usually several choices of meat and fish, fruits and veggies, breads, potatoes, and desserts. So now I'm going to open this up to questions that you guys may have that maybe I didn't answer. So let's see here. Cliff, you had asked about bringing a small flashlight. And yes, if your phone doesn't have a flashlight, that might be something that you would like to bring. I know for me personally, it's nice to have one if you are having to get up in the middle of the night to make a bathroom run. And you're in an unfamiliar hotel room, so that way you don't stub a toe. Which plug does Norway use? So let me go back to that page so that you can look at it one more time. And just bear with me. Oh, I passed it. Okay, it is the two-prong plug. So it's similar to ours, but they're round. And so your device will actually plug into here, and then this will plug into the wall or the outlet in Norway. Is Discover a good credit card to bring, or Visa, MasterCard better? I have found that most stores and hotels and things like that over in Scandinavia, our Visa, MasterCard is pretty much accepted everywhere. Discover, probably not as widely. So if you have a Visa or MasterCard, I would definitely bring that over the Discover card. How often are there stops for tours, on our tours for rest stops? Usually we try to stop every couple of hours. Of course, if somebody has an emergency, we can stop, at the nearest town. But there is a restroom on board the bus, so that is an option. But we usually try to at least stop every couple of hours so that people can get off the bus, stretch their legs, use the restroom, maybe grab a snack or something like that. Um, in addition to the one carry-on bag, are we allowed a bag for medical devices such as a CPAP and also a personal bag? Yes. So the one carry-on bag, yes, you also get the personal item. A bag for medical devices, I'm actually not sure, Marilyn. I would have to check on that. I don't believe for the airlines it's a problem. If you're planning to use a CPAP machine on board the plane to help you sleep, there is a form I know that they usually ask that you fill out, and that's something that we can get. So I don't think that counts as, a carry-on bag or anything like that. And for our buses, I don't think that's a problem either. I've never had anybody, say that we, didn't allow them to bring it with us. So what kind of things would need to be declared at customs? So if you're bringing like any fruits, animal products, things like that, weapons of any kind. So hopefully nobody's traveling with any of that kind of stuff. That's something that I would definitely look at the regulations for Norway, depending on where you're traveling. Traveling into Sweden, things like that. I would check with each country just to be on the safe side. Meals on Iceland Air, can we use US dollars? Most of the time they use credit cards. So they don't usually take cash on board the plane. You can pre-book meals as well. So if you visit the Iceland Air website, they do have meals that you can pre-book. Um, so, but most of the time it's just credit cards that they accept on board the plane. CPAP. Okay. Okay. Richard, thanks for that information. Richard said, I have been asked about carrying a CPAP in his case onto the plane, but was allowed. I prefer to put it in my check luggage. So that's really just kind of a personal, I guess if you're not planning to use it on board the plane, then if you want to put it in your check luggage, that might be a good option. So do we have any other questions? I'm here till 4, so I'm in no hurry, so if you have more questions, then Marilyn, how long are the seatbelts? Ooh, that is a good question. I am sure that they have seatbelt extenders on board the plane, but that would be something that I would actually have to check on. And let's see. I can't get my little bar to scroll down here, so I can't see your bottom question here. Okay. Marilyn, you had asked, are seatbelt extenders available on board, or can a person bring one with them? I will check on that. I will contact Iceland Air and check that to be sure, because I honestly do not know. And Norma, you had asked about using your debit card to get money. Yes, you can certainly use your debit card to get money. That is not a problem. You can also, I have to be honest, it's hard to find banks in the US that carry some of the kroner that you will use in Scandinavia. So if you would like to exchange money before you leave, great. If you can find a bank that has Norwegian kroner, Swedish kroner, wherever it is you happen to be going. Euro is usually not a problem. Um, but you can definitely use your debit card at ATM. It would just be like you were getting money out of the ATM here. But you, again, you might want to check and be sure that your bank does not charge a foreign transaction fee. Sharon, you asked how many people are on a tour. Typically between 30 to 35. Sometimes it can be more. Some tours will only have, 12 or 16 people. So it really just kind of varies. Um, Barb, you'd asked what type of things are unique to Norway that we might want to buy. Definitely want to leave space. So some things to Norway. There is, of course, a Norwegian sweater. That's a classic thing. If that's a little outside of your souvenir budget, because they can be quite expensive, then you might want to look at some mittens. There's, of course, the knitted mittens. Um, Other things. Let's see. I'm trying to think. I usually get Christmas ornaments. Those are small and can be packed, in your shoes. So that's usually what I stick with. Other things include any pewter. Pewter is, of course, something that's really popular in Norway. Um, the cheese slicers, of course, those were invented in Norway, so that's something that you might want to get. Trolls, moose, anything with the Norwegian flag on it is always good. Trying to think. I have a replica Viking ship dragon head, so um, let's see. I'm trying to think of other things that might be unique. I will, if I think of anything else, Barbara, I will, or Barb, I'm sorry, I will send you an email. So hopefully some of those will give you some good ideas. What is a small one for? Okay. Cliff, you had asked about overhead luggage. Usually, yes, you can put one bag in the overhead and then one under the seat in front of you. And Richard, you had asked about a booster seat. Actually, yes, you may need a booster seat. And I did see that question on the registration form. I actually just sent an email to the bus company for your tour to see if that's something that they can provide. That way you won't have to travel with one. So I will get back to you on that as soon as I hear from them, because I do know that they do have some booster seats, but I just wanted to double check. And Norma, yes, the ATMs will give you kroner. So depending on wherever country you're in, you'll get that currency. Phil, you had asked about your ancestral home is 40 miles north of Oslo. It is certainly possible to go there. Yes, a rental car would probably be the easiest thing to do, but depending on where it is, you might be able to get a public bus, which would be probably a lot less expensive. Um, Phil, if you want to send in an email or call our office, we can certainly help you with that. That should not be a problem at all. Marilyn, you asked about pills being carried through TSA and a pill minder, or do they have to be in the original bottle? I have done both, actually. I've even had some just in a Ziploc baggie. So it's whatever makes it easier for you. If you are taking a pill minder, the little day of the week things, you might want to go ahead and put that in a Ziploc bag just in case one of those things pops open. That way your pills are not scattered throughout your suitcase. And so, but I would, if you are taking the pill minder, I would make a copy of um, your bottle that has a prescription on there. So in case you lose a pill, it gets flushed down the toilet or something like that, and you might want to bring just a couple extra just in case that happens, because that's happened to me. So, all right. Do we have any other questions? I hope I have not gone too fast. So, Maryland, do hotels in Norway and Iceland have non-feather pillows? There are allergic the allergy-free pillows that we can request. If that's something that you need, please just let us know and we can request those. All right. Anything else? I have our contact information listed up here, so this would be the easiest way to get a hold of us. You can call us, you can email us, and again, that information, a lot of the information that I've covered today is in our helpful hints. Hopefully you all received a copy of that when you registered for our tours. And if you do need another copy, there's one available online, or we are certainly more than happy to send one out in your final documents. We just need to know that you need one. So just give us a heads up and we'll be happy to send that out to you. So if we don't have any other questions today, I will go ahead and wrap up, and I thank you all for joining us today. I hope I was able to give you some good information about what to expect on tour, what to pack, and all that stuff. So we hope that you have a great time with us this summer. We love Norway, we love Scandinavia, and we love travel. So it's always fun to share our love with others. So we look forward to seeing you this summer in person and hope that you have a great afternoon and a great weekend. And we'll see you in Scandinavia this summer. Thanks so much, all. Bye bye.